All right. So we are ready to start the multimedia image collection. You should have just finished up step 2, where you went through and you filled out information about country planning and you included 3 images at the bottom. For the most part, you probably used the snipping tool to gather those images. And that is a simple copy paste. Those are very low quality images. Doesn't mean you're not going to use the same images. You just need to find a higher quality image for those. All right. So if you're looking at the requirements here, you are going to find 5 to 8 images that will match each of those categories. You are eventually going to be using these on 3 separate web pages and create 3 separate banners for those web pages, along with some other multimedia things. So we need some really good, high quality images, and there's some tricks to that. So category 1 is going to be the country, category 2, Airbnb, and category 3 is adventures. Again, closely matching these 3 pages that you just filled out on the previous assignment. So over here on the right side, your images need to either be in a format called JPEG, JPG. Sometimes it has an E in there, JEPG or JPEG, but those are called JPEGs. Or another format called PNGs. Those are going to be your highest quality images for the use of what we're going to be doing. The trick to that is a couple of years ago, Google started introducing this new optimized image called WebPs. So anytime you've downloaded an image and then you try and open it somewhere, you try to insert it in a Google slideshow or somewhere like that, and it says unsupported format, that is probably a WebP file. So it's a really low quality image and it's optimized for web pages, but it's not useful for multimedia. So that's going to be our trick, is saving the largest, highest quality version of images. All right. So let's say that I'm ready to start collecting my 5 to 8 images for my country. So that could include landscape, flags, pictures of the culture, pictures of food, whatever, all matching things that would be on my picture or my web page about my country. And my country happens to be Costa Rica. Right. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to type in Costa Rica. Right. So if I type in Costa Rica, pops up like this. Actually, let me skip a step here. Costa Rica pops up like this if I just type it into Google. Right. It gives me everything about Costa Rica. I want specifically images. So first thing I'm going to do is click on images right here. And then the second thing I can do is, here's a whole bunch of images, but I can't tell which ones are big, which ones are small, which ones are thumbnails, because these are all the same size, really. So I can use this tool right here. It's called Tools. And right underneath it, where it says size, I can say, you know what? Instead of any size, only show me the large images. This does a pretty good job of filtering out only large images in a Google Images search. They all look about the same, but behind the scenes, these are actually huge. The way I can tell that is this. If I click on this image, I want to use, let's say, this first image. All right. And that's a famous mountain in Costa Rica. And that's something I can put in there. It pops open here on the right side. Okay. So that's a medium size image. That's not bad, but I want the biggest one I can possibly get. So what I need to do is right click and say open image in new tab. Not open link in new tab, but open image in new tab. It opens up a new tab. And now what it should do is give me the largest version of that picture. You can see it's the full screen. If I even made this full screen, it would be the entire size of my monitor. So I know this is the highest quality photo that I could possibly get. I don't need to zoom in or anything like that, but that's going to be perfect for Photoshop. So that's your first step, is get the biggest photo you possibly can that you want. If you open this up and it's just the size of like a business card or something, don't use that photo. It's too small. It's going to be blurry. If you try to make it bigger, it's going to be blurry. All right. So just go on and move to a different image. So I've got this image, got my biggest image. My second step is to right click and do save image as. Right. When I do file save image as, or right click save image as, it's going to pop up. It's going to show me a couple different things. Number one, it's trying to put it inside my downloads folder. I want to put these all inside my pictures folder. So over here on the left side, I'm going to click pictures, and I need to create a new folder where I'm just going to dump all of these Costa Rica pictures. So they're all contained into one folder. So I have no Costa Rica folder here. So I'm going to click on new folder up here at the top and just call this Costa Rica. All right. And I'm going to go inside there. And then the last thing on there, or the final thing, is I want to look at the type of file and the file name. If you look at this file name, it is crazy, right? It says Costa Rica aerial volcano, and then all these letters and numbers and symbols. Well, when you're building a web page, you're going to have to type all that in. So simplify it. I'm just going to call it volcano. So I'm going to delete all this other stuff and just have it be called volcano. And down here where it says save as type, that is one of the two types of files I need, either JPEGs or PNGs. I can see this is a JPEG. It's going to work perfect. I'm going to click save. Now I've already saved my first one of my 5 to 8 pictures, right? Back here, I need to do 5 to 8 pictures for each of these categories. Now, if I went in and I opened up, let's say this one, right? This is my next one. This is Costa Rica. I'm going to right click on it, save image as, go through those steps. It's already now inside my pictures folder. Perfect. I'm going to get rid of this. I don't want this to be called Shutterstock and a bunch of numbers. I'm going to call this waterfall. No spaces, no numbers, no symbols, just as simple as possible. Definitely no spaces because web pages don't do well with spaces. All right. And it's saved. And I can see down here at the bottom. Now, here's our challenge. I've got this one. This one is awesome. It's a great. I'm going to use this on my page where I talk about activities because I can go hiking through the jungle. If I right click on this and do save image as, notice it looks exactly the same as all my other ones. But I right click on it. Right away, I can tell something's a little bit different. All my images look like they disappeared. And down here at the bottom, there is that WebP file format. I can't change it, but I'm going to go ahead and save this because I really like that picture. I'm just going to call it bridge. And I'm going to save it. But now I know I need to do a second step. I need to convert that into either JPEG or PNG, right? And it says that right here in the directions. If it is a WebP image, it needs to be converted. There's a hyperlink to a website. Now, there's a bunch of these out here. This happens to be one. This is called Easy GIF. You guys are unblocked from it. There's a bunch of them that you're blocked, unfortunately. But this one works for you. And it's got ads over on the left side. That's why it's free. But what we're doing is we're doing a WebP to JPEG conversion. So I'm going to take that WebP, which is useless, convert it into JPEG, which is the best. So I'm going to go here, click choose file. I'm going to go find that file that I just found. So remember, it's inside pictures, inside Costa Rica. And I can right away, I can tell it's something's wrong with it. It's not showing me the image. It's showing me a Chrome icon. So I can tell it's something is goofed up. That's because it's a WebP icon or WebP image. All right. And then I'm going to click upload. Now, if this first step works, I'm good to go. It's going to upload it. It's going to convert it. Yep. That's the picture. Awesome. So it's going to work. I go down here. I click this button that says convert to JPEG. It sits there, converts it. Now that's a JPEG. If you look at them, they look exactly the same, except that one's a WebP. I can't use it anywhere. That one's a JPEG, and I can use it everywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And I'm going to save it right here inside my Costa Rica. I'm going to call it Waterfall. And I'm actually going to call it Waterfall 2, just to differentiate the difference between the two. And now I've saved it. So now it works perfect. I can go in and I can look at that and I can look at those images. So that is where you're going through and finding high quality images, only JPEGs or PNGs. They need to be the biggest ones you possibly can. And when you're done with this, you're going to have about 15 to 25 images total. If you want to go in and check to see where your images are, you can go ahead and click on your file share, pop it open. Just popped open here. I'm going to go inside my Costa Rica. I may have to refresh this. There's my Costa Rica. And there's my images. And I can tell that one right there is screwed up. I can even delete that one if I wanted to, if I know I already converted it, just so I'm not confused. Whoop, that's not waterfall. That's bridge. I just noticed that. If you ever rename one wrong, I just called that one waterfall for some weird reason. I'm going to right click on it and say, you know what, rename that. Call that bridge. Bang, I just did that as well. All right. And if you missed how I got to this, that's by clicking on the file explorer down here at the very bottom. All right. And that is your assignment here to go ahead and collect images. These images are going to be used for a variety of things. They're going to be inserted on our webpage. They're going to be used to create web page banners. We're going to create Photoshop images out of them and movie shorts out of them. We're going to use those as background images for some of our movies. So the more you gather, the better, as high a quality images as you possibly can.